Dear children, we have studied in the last class different operations performed on list. In that, we have studied concatenation, replication, membership operator, then slicing, then another type of operation is called indexing. So, indexing is nothing but there is an index value for each item present in the sequence. So, you all know for a list each element has an index value. So, you have 0th index, first index, second index, third index and so on, depending upon the sequence that you have. In Python, indexing starts from 0 like other programming languages. Here in the figure you can see a sequence of cars, and the car which is at the first position has index 0, the next one has index 1 and so on, index 2, index 3, index 4 and so on. This is how the indexing is given to each item in a list. Thus, list in Python can have different types of elements stored in a particular sequence, such as integers, strings, etc. Similarly, in Python, an index is a number specifying the position of an element in a list. So, index represents a number that specifies the position of an element in a list. It enables access to individual elements in the list. With the help of these index value, we can access the individual elements in a list. Index of first element in a list is 0. Then index of second element is 1. And index of last element or nth element is always -1. So here you can see the sequence of cars. In that, the car which is in the first position has index 0 and the car which is in the last position has the index 7. Also, here we know that there are 8 cars. If the count of the cars are unknown, then in that case we can find the index of the last car as -1, because we know that negative indexing starts from right to left. So, always the item which is in the last of a sequence has always the index as -1. Negative indexes identify positions relative to the end of the list. The index -1 identifies the last element. -2 identifies the next to the last element or the second last element. -2 identifies the second last element. So, here we have two lists. List 1 containing strings, that are colors red, green, blue, and second list is a list containing integer values. So, if we want to access an individual item in a list, so red, green, blue are individual elements in a list called list 1, individual elements of list 1. So, to access these individual elements, we can access using the index value of that particular element. So, if we want to access a particular value. Suppose if we want to access blue, if we want to print this item or the element blue in the list 1, then we can use the index value of that list, of that element. So you know that only 3 elements are there in list 1. So the index value of red is 0, index value of green is 1, index of blue is 2. Or we can use negative indexing, that is blue is the last element, so its index is -1. So we can use any of these two index to return the value, to retrieve the value blue. Any of these two, positive index or negative index, can be used to retrieve the value or retrieve the element in the list. So print list 1 in square brackets the index. So the index is 2. Then you can see the output is, since this program is written in script mode, the output will not be obtained after pressing the enter key. Whole program is to be written, then we have to go to the run, then only the program will be executed. So since it is written in script mode, and have printed print list 1 in square brackets -1. Always the index is specified inside the square brackets. First the list name, then in square brackets the index position. Then next statement, print list 2 in square brackets 2. So at square bracket at index 2 the value is 30. In list 2 at index 2 the value is 30. But in list 2 at index -1 the value is 50. At -2 the value is 40. At -3 the value is 30. So if we print in the next statement, print list 2 in square brackets -3. So the output obtained is blue 30 30. That is, in list 1 at index position 2 the value, the element is blue, and in list 1 at index position -1 the value is, the element is blue. Then in list 2 at index position 2 the value or the element is 30, and in list 2 at index -3 the element is 30. So this is indexing. This is what indexing in list. Next topic is traversing a list. Traversing a list means accessing each element of a list. Traversing in a list means accessing each element in a list. So here in indexing we are accessing only a single element, but no other elements have been accessed. We didn't access red or green, only a single element is accessed. But if we want to access all the elements in a list, we are using traversing. So traversing a list means accessing each element of a list. This can be done by using either for or while loop statement. Can be used with either for loop or while loop statements. So let us see how traversing is done. So using in operator inside for loop. So we have studied a membership operator in. So that operator can be used inside the for loop to access each element in a list. Or traverse a list, we can use in operator inside the for loop. And also using a range function. So let us see how we can use traverse with the help of in operator inside a for loop. So the elements of a list can be accessed individually using for loop. So we have a list. So this is a program containing a list. The name of the list is list7 equal to, in square brackets, strings are there containing single characters. Strings containing single characters. LEARNPYTHON. These are the elements of the list7. So we want to print or we want to access each element in that list, in this list. So we are using a in operator, membership operator, inside the for loop. So we have a for statement for I in list7. So in for loop, for statement, we have studied that for statement can be written using either a sequence or using a range function like this, for I in range. So here we are iterating with the help of a sequence called list. So for statements can be executed with the help of either a sequence or using a range function. Here we are using a sequence called list because we want to access each element in a list. For I in list7, so the for loop will check whether will have first the I, which is a control variable, will have the value L. For I in list7, the in operator will assign the value, first value in list7 to the variable I. The control variable I will have the value in the first iteration, it will have the value that is in the 0th index of the list. So in the 0th index, the list7 has the value L. So it will enter the loop and print I. So print I will print the value L. Next, I, which is the control variable, will have the next value in that list, that is E. So print I, it will enter the loop, then print I will print E. Then again it will, for loop will iterate, the control variable I will have the value A. So here we are using, in for loop, for statement, we are using the sequence. In such case, I will have the values in that list. I will always have a value in that list. But if we are using the range function, I will always have the index value. In case we are using the range function, I is always having the index value. But if we are using sequence, the control variable I will have the value that is in the sequence. So I has the value A, then it will enter the loop, print A. Then again it will iterate, I will have the next value in the list, that is R, then again it will print I. And so on, the value of I will be the next value in the list until there are elements in the list. Until there are elements in the list, the for loop will iterate. And when the I will have the value n, the character n. After that, the for loop will stop its iteration. That is, no value is present inside the loop. No further value is present inside the list. So for loop will stop its iteration. Next is using range function. We have already discussed about the range function in previous chapter. It checks for the given set of values mentioned as the argument to range function. It checks for the given set of values mentioned as the argument to range function. Argument means what is specified inside the range function. So here n is a value which is inside the range function. So n is the argument. Whatever thing that is given inside a function is called argument. So inside the print function, the argument is list1 square brackets I. So this is the argument. So what we have specified inside a function. So here length is a function and inside the bracket list1 is inside the function length. So list1 is the argument. So whatever we specify inside a function is called argument. So the range function checks for the given set of values mentioned as the argument to the range function. This function can be used for accessing individual elements of a list using index of elements only along with length function method. So here we have a list. In that list the elements are strings which are enclosed in single quotes T, H, O, N. These are strings. P is a string, Y is a string, T, H, O, N are individual strings. And we have to iterate we have to access each element in a list using their index value, using their index. So we know we have to first identify how many elements are there. Then only we will be able to access the element using the index value, because we have to identify how many elements are there and what are the index of particular each element. So here we have calculated the length of the list. For calculating the length of the list, we have a function called len. N is equal to len of list1. That is, the length of the list is computed and stored in a variable n. Length of the list is computed using the function len and stored in a variable n. Now n contains the length of the list. So the length of the list is number of elements present in that list. So in list 1, how many elements are present? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 elements are present. So the length of the list is 6. That is, the value of n is 6. Now the fourth statement begins. For I in range in bracket n. That is, in range function only one parameter is given or one argument is given. That is, range function has 3 arguments. They are start, stop and step. Here only one argument is given. So that argument will be considered as stop. So the range function will generate a list containing the index value, containing integer values from 0 to n minus 1. Range function will generate a sequence of numbers from 0 to n minus 1. That is 0 to 6 minus 1. That is 0 to 5. So it will enter the loop. First the value, since it is range function and it generates a list with integer values starting from 0 to 5. So I will have first iteration, I will have the value 0. You can identify the difference. Here we are using the sequence. In that case I will have the first element in that sequence. But in this we are using a range function. That range function generate a sequence of integers. So here I will have the first element of that sequence that the range function has generated. So range function generated a sequence 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and I will have the value 0. Now it will enter the for loop. Inside the for loop you can see indentation is given and one statement is there inside the for loop, that is print in bracket list1 square bracket I. So we have studied how to access the element of a particular index value, or in indexing we have studied we can access the particular element with the help of index position by giving the name of the list, then in square brackets the index. So here print list1 in square brackets I. We know that I has the value 0. So list1 in square bracket 0 will print the element at 0th index of list1. So the element at 0th index of list1 is P. So it will print P. Then again the for loop will iterate. Then the next value of I will be 1. So it will print list1 in square bracket 1. List1 of in list1 the element at index 1 will be printed, that is Y. Then again the for loop will iterate until the value of I is 5. At 5 the element will be the element with index 5 will be printed, that is N. So you can see after that it is printed outside the for loop. After this for loop stops iteration, there is a print statement. Total number of characters are, so it is printed total number of characters are. Since this print statement is given outside the for loop, it will be executed only after the for loop stops its iteration. After the for loop stops its iteration, the next statement after the for loop will be executed. So the next statement after the for loop is total number of characters. So in the output you can see total number of characters are. Then in the next statement print N. So the value corresponding to N is printed. So value corresponding to N is what? N is the length of the list that we have computed and stored in the variable N. So print N will print 6. So total number of characters are 6. Inside for loop, and the second one is using range function. Using the range function. So let us see, we have an example which is in our textbook. List 7 is equal to L E A R N P H O N. So this is a list. These are the elements in the list. These are the elements in the list. So first we iterate or we access the elements or traverse the list by using in operator in. So this is the program. This is an example of program using in operator inside for loop. So this is a for statement. This is a for loop and we are using an in operator inside the for loop. So let us see how this works. So in this case, in operator is used with a sequence. This list 7 is a name of a list. List 7 is the name of a list and list 7 is a sequence. If this in for statement, if this for statement uses a sequence, whether it is a list or a string or a tuple, any sequence, then the control variable I will have the values as the elements of the list. That is, I will be L or I will be E, A, R, N, P, Y, T, H, O, and any of the elements will be the value of I. If in for loop the list or a sequence is used. So here first, when the for loop program starts executing, it executes this statement, then it will control will go to the next statement, that is a for loop. For I in list 7, print I. So first iteration, I is equal to L. First iteration, I is equal to L. Print I will print in the output, print I will print the value of I as L. Then again for loop will iterate. The value of I will be next element in the list. Then the value of I will be E. Again it will enter the loop. Then print I will print the second iteration, I is equal to E. Print I will print E in the next line. Again it will go to the starting of the for statement. Then I will be the next element in the list. So I will be the next element in the list. In the third iteration, I is equal to A. Then it will enter the loop and print I means I is A. So it in the next line it prints A. Then again in the next iteration, fourth iteration, I will become I is equal to the next element in the list. I is the next element in the list, that is R. I is equal to R. It will enter the loop. The statement inside the loop will execute, that is print I will print R in the next line. Then again in the next iteration, fifth iteration, I will be next element, that is N. I is equal to N. Then it will execute the statement inside the for loop, that is print I will print the value of I, that is N in the next line. Again in the sixth iteration, again I will be next element, that is I is equal to P. And print I will print P. Again I will become Y. Seventh iteration, I is equal to Y. Then print I will print Y. Then in the eighth iteration, I will become the next element, that is I is equal to T. Print I will print the value of I, that is T. Again for loop will execute. The value of I will change and it will become H. Ninth iteration, I is equal to H. Print I will print H. Again it will go to this starting of the for loop. Again the value of I will be changed and I becomes O. I is equal to O. In the 10th iteration, I becomes O. Print I will print O. Again in the 11th iteration. In the 11th iteration, again it will go to the starting of the for loop and I will become N. I is equal to N. The value of I will be N. I is a control variable, so the value of I changes according to the contents of the list. So again print I will print n. Then again there is no element in the list. So the for loop stops its execution and the output will be obtained as learn Python. Output will be obtained as learn Python. This is how list is traversed based on in operator inside for loop. In operator inside for loop. Next method of traversal is based on the range function. So we are considering a list. List 7 is equal to P Y T H O N. This is a list PYTHON containing the strings. These are the elements of list 7. So here we are using a range function and we are traversing based on the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the index values of the elements of this list. So let us write the program. So we are calculating the length. To calculate the index, to get the index value, first we have to get the length of the list. So length of the list can be calculated as using a function called len. Len of list. List 7. So this len is the function to calculate the length of the list. So the length of our list is list 7 is the name of the list 7. Then length function will calculate the length of this list and it will compute the length and store the value in a variable called n. Compute the length and store the value in a variable n. So let us see what is the length of the list 7. So length means number of elements in that list. So here number of elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here 6 elements are there. So the value of n is 6. Now we can write the for statement. For I in range. Range should be what? I should iterate from 0 to 5 only. So till n. That is for I in range of n. That is value will be value of n is 6. So from 0 to 5 only iteration will take place. So we are calculating the length. Here only 5 elements are there. If we have given 6 elements, then the value of n will change. Then based on that, the range function calculates the range. So here we have given the attribute as n. N is the stop. That is, range function has 3 parameters there: start, stop and step. So here only one parameter is given, then it is the stop, and step and start are considered by default. Start is 0 and step is 1. Step is 1, 0 to 1. That is by default. If we do not specify start and step, start will be 0, step will be 1. So for I in range, in bracket n, we should put a colon here. In a for statement, we should put a colon. For I in range n, print. Here if I print I, our output will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But what we want? We want the values of particular integer. We want the values for that index. If we print I like this, we will get the value 0, 1, 2, 3. But instead of that, we need PYTHON. So, we have to access the element at that particular index. So, how can we access that element? For that, we have to write the name of the list, list 7, then in square brackets the index. So, let us see how this works. So, first iteration, first the interpreter will execute this statement, then it will go and compute the value of n. It will compute the value of n as 6. Then for I in range of n, so the range function I can have the values from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is, n is what? 6. 6 minus 1. Range function will take values from 0 to n minus 1. That is 0 to 6 minus 1. That is 0 to 5. So, I can have values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After the value 5, the for loop will stop its execution. So, let us see how this for loop works. So, in the first iteration, I is 0, I equal to 0. Then print list 7 of I, that is in list 7 at index 0. In list 7 at index 0. What is the value at index 0 of list 7? That is P. So, print list 7 of index 0 will print. In the output, it will print P. Again, it will go to the for statement. Here, these statements will not be executed because this is a loop. So, when this statement starts executing, all the statements inside the loop will iterate until the for loop stops its execution. So, after executing this statement, again it will go to the starting of the for loop. The value of I will now become 1. Since it is a range function, the value of I will be the index value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we are printing the element based on the index. List name in square bracket the index. Here we are directly printing the value because we are here instead of range function we are using a sequence. That is the difference between these two. Now we are printing the first element P. Now in the second iteration the value of I will be 1. I is equal to 1. Then this statement will become print list 7 of list 7 in that in square bracket at index position 1. At index position 1 the value is y. So, print y. Y. Then third iteration I is 2. Then print list 7 of I means it will print the element corresponding to this index. So, it will print T. In the fourth iteration I is equal to 3. So, it will print the value corresponding to that index, that is H. Again it will go to the starting of the for loop. Again the value of I will become 4. So, in the fifth iteration I is equal to 4 and the value corresponding to index 4 will be printed, that is O. Again for loop will start its execution. The value of I will become 5. In the sixth iteration I is equal to 5 and since I is 5, index becomes 5, then list 7 of 5. List 7, the value corresponding to index 5 will be printed. In list 7, the element corresponding to index 5 will be printed. So, it is printed as n. Again, I had all these values. Again, no value is there left for I. So, the for loop stops its execution and the final output is obtained as like this. The final output obtained is this. So this is how the traversing in list take place. So children, try out these examples. Thank you.